Thank you very much for staying tuned. This is Mansoor back with another session. This is number 4 video in the same program in which we are discussing about the sounds which change your accent entirely. Now in this video we'll discussing about the T sounds. There are 5 type of T's in American accent. All of them give different sounds, and if you practice the previous sounds, and if you practice T sounds and the coming video in the same program, I bet you will change your accent entirely, and also you will speak differently. So let's begin with the session. Okay, first of all, basic introduction. There are 5 type of T's. First is T when it gives you a stop sound, like hot. Second, which is right here, T when it gives a hard N sound, like mountain becomes mountain. Then T which gives a D sound, not a completely D, but D sounds, like computer becomes computer. T when it gives the T sound, table, tall. T when it gives the silent sound, like T will not be pronounced in these words, like interview becomes interview. So let's begin with the session. Also we will learn the basic rules for all these 5 type of T's. Again guys, practice, 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 practice. I can point out towards the definition, I can point out towards the rules, I can point out towards the explanation, I can give you examples, but again, if you go back, follow the rules, write on a piece of paper how many T's are differentiating between different words, where T is coming in the beginning, in the middle, and more you practice, better is the chance your English will be different. Okay, when T is actually T, it's a regular T sound, and almost always used when T is the first letter of the word, like for example table, tall, test, best, all first letter T's. Now remember one thing, this is a regular T what we have been pronouncing, so nothing to worry about this section, because this is the way you have been doing or pronouncing T's from the beginning, so don't worry about this session, okay? This section, my bad. Okay, when T is giving you a sound of D, but remember one thing, it's not a complete D sound, okay? D may be a hard sound to produce in the word, but T will give you sort of half D, I would say, okay? And it's giving you a sound of D when it comes between vowel sounds. So let's learn, okay? When T is between 2 vowel sounds, A, E, I, O, U, or between a vowel and L or R, these letters are called semi-vowels in linguists. It becomes a D sound. In phonetics, this sound is called a flap, which means the tongue touches the roof of the mouth quickly. It should be soft, light sound. Now it means that it is not a hard D sound, okay? It should be soft and light sound. This is the key difference between the British and the American speech. This rule is widely applicable. You may find a few exceptions, but you will be more surprised by how well the rule works, okay? So let's go and practice. Now ultimately, computer becomes computer, water becomes water, bottle becomes bottle, heater becomes heater, better become better, matter become matter, ability become ability, university become university, Put it on become put it on. Great idea become great idea. Okay, let's discuss the next type of T. When T is silence, okay, but whenever T comes after N, it is a silent T. That means T will not be pronounced at all. There will be no T sound in those words. When T comes after N, the T is dropped in many words. This rule is not as important as it is informal. Okay, excuse me for that. Okay, this rule is not as important as it is informal. It is mostly used when people speak quickly, but it's good to be able to listen for this change. It is also good to remember not to pronounce a strong T at the middle or end of a word. When not at the beginning or stressed, a T should be fast and soft or barely heard at all. Let's practice. Interview becomes interview. Interstate becomes interstate. International becomes international. Wanted becomes wanted. Don't know becomes don't know. Printer becomes printer. Enter becomes enter. 20 becomes 20. Okay. Okay, next is T when it gives a hard N sound. Okay, when T is before an N, the sound is stopped and turns into a hard N. The final N should be strong. This sound is more difficult. Of course, you have to practice more. It may be best to listen for it for a while and then start trying to use it. Or there's another way. Let's practice one by one and stop pronouncing the words previously and start pronouncing the words in the new method. Okay, like mountain becomes, if you see here, mountain becomes mountain. Fountain becomes fountain. Curtain becomes curtain. Written becomes written. Forgotten becomes forgotten. Important becomes important. Sentence becomes sentence. Okay, now these are basically the rule. The last one is T when it gives a stop sound. In these cases, when T is at the end of a word, this is not followed by a vowel, the sound stops. To say this correctly, emphasize the preceding vowel, put your tongue into place and simply stop the sound. This one too can be difficult to master, especially when you're learning different words. So listen for it first, especially when people say it's hot or that's that. Okay, words, examples. Hot, hat, mat, fat, lot, rat, pat, foot, want, sit, sat, fit, bat, pot. Okay, only one request. Practice, practice, practice. Okay, I will be back with more sessions which is connected to this program. This was video number 4. Let's wait for other videos to come. Thank you for watching. Keep tuned.